WWE Executive Chairman Vince McMahon reimburses World Wrestling Entertainment over $17 million for costs related to the misconduct investigation that led to his retirement last year. We've got more details on that. Plus, Bray Wyatt is spotted for the first time amid his current WWE absence and speculation about his WrestleMania status and future. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio has been confirmed for WrestleMania 39. Ronda Rousey, she will be competing at WrestleMania despite the injury reports and rumors. The Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale has been fully announced for next week's edition of SmackDown. John Cena versus Austin Theory will be kicking off WrestleMania weekend, being the first match on WrestleMania Night 1. Edge at WrestleMania will be facing Finn Balor inside Hell in a Cell. But is there a spoiler about a special entrance for the Rated R superstar? Cody Rhodes versus Solo Sikoa has been announced for Monday Night Raw this coming week. Charlotte Flair also references the Bella Twins and Mercedes Moné on SmackDown on Friday. There were plans for a New Day reunion and skit at WrestleMania that maybe have now been cancelled, and Cody Rhodes confirmed the status of his wife Brandi Rhodes for WrestleMania 39. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's start off talking about Vince McMahon and news that broke on Friday, but I wanted to wait a few days just in case we got any extra details on this. But the payments and the costs with Vince McMahon's return and allegations against him continue to spiral because it was reported by Variety on Friday, and it was because of an SEC filing by WWE, that Vince McMahon has paid WWE $17.4 million for costs the wrestling entertainment company incurred in investigating misconduct allegations against the executive chairman. McMahon, as I mentioned, WWE's executive chairman and controlling shareholder, returned to the company in January after he retired from the company last year. WWE's board had formed a special committee to look into allegations that he paid millions of dollars in hush money to multiple women to stay quiet about affairs and other misconduct. Under an agreement reached with the company, McMahon, on March 23rd, paid WWE about $17.4 million, according to an SEC filing by the company on Friday. That was to reimburse the company for, quote, the costs that have been incurred and paid by the company and or its subsidiaries through January 31st, 2023 in connection with and or arising from the investigation conducted by a special committee of the company's board of directors, end quote, as well as related revisions to the company's financial statements and other related matters, WWE said. McMahon has also promised to pay back the company for additional costs incurred by the company and or its subsidiaries after January 31st. The agreement includes, quote, a release of the company by Mr. McMahon regarding the investigation and related matters described above. With McMahon's return to the WWE, the company has been actively seeking a buyer. As CEO of WWE, McMahon made payments totaling $19.6 million dating back to 2007 and even before that related to the alleged misconduct the company disclosed last summer. In January, of course, McMahon elected himself back onto WWE's board and also appointed Michelle Wilson and George Barrios, former WWE co-presidents and directors, to the board. Quote, WWE is entering a critical juncture in its history with the upcoming media rights negotiations, coinciding with the increased industry-wide demand for quality content and live events, and with more companies seeking to own the intellectual property on their platforms, McMahon said in announcing his return in January 2023. The only way for WWE to fully capitalize on this opportunity is for me to return as executive chairman and support the management team in the negotiations for our media rights and to combine that with a review of strategic alternatives. McMahon added that his return will allow WWE, as well as any transaction counterparties, to engage in these processes, knowing they will have the support of the controlling shareholder. So just for clarification again, this new payment is unrelated, or separate rather, not unrelated because they're all related, but separate from the near $20 million in payments hush money payments to quiet alleged misconduct. So all of this has nearly cost McMahon personally close to $40 million, and that's just the payments that we know of. It really is an incredible amount of money paid by WWE's executive chairman, and he's still with the company. Now, Bray Wyatt, a lot of people talking about Bray Wyatt at the moment amid his WWE hiatus and absence. And SmackDown superstar Bray Wyatt, Wyndham Rotunda is his real name, has now been spotted in public for the first time since reports emerged about his WWE absence. Wyatt has missed a number of recent WWE shows due to a personal health issue. While Wyatt has recently been feuding with Bobby Lashley, both stars' WrestleMania status are up in the air ahead of next weekend's event. A fan has now shared a photo with Wyatt on Twitter, noting that they met Wyatt just outside of Tampa, Florida, near where Wyatt resides. The fan confirmed that the photo was taken an hour before they shared it on March 24, so it was very recent. They also explained that Wyatt waited for them to park up before they took the photo together. Now, Wyatt, his previously rumoured opponent, Bobby Lashley, we know more about what his plans are next week. We'll talk about that a little bit later on. As far as Wyatt, the latest and the last that we heard regarding him was that he was dealing with an undisclosed physical issue. It had then been reported he was dealing with an illness. That's what WWE's creative team had been told. But apart from that, his status and his issue at the moment still appears as vague as it was a couple of weeks ago, and even the references to Bray Wyatt on television have now stopped. So maybe in the next 7 days, well, clearly, as we get closer to WrestleMania, we're going to know if Wyatt's going to be even pre-announced to be on the show or not, or if we're going to continue to hear nothing about Wyatt's status. Nevertheless, some people would say he looks fine in that picture, but a picture can only say one thing. We'll have to wait and see if we get any more details. Now, what about Alexa Bliss? Of course, Bliss at one point was rumored to be part of this whole Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt storyline, and Bliss has now provided a big update on her status for WrestleMania 39 amid her own WWE television absence. After disputing claims that she's on a planned hiatus, Bliss has now revealed that during her absence, she has appeared as a contestant on The Masked Singer and also had skin cancer treatment. Speaking with Cinema Blend, Bliss revealed that she plans to be at SoFi Stadium on April 1st and April 2nd for WrestleMania 39. When asked if she'll be at the event, Bliss said, quote, "I will be in LA for WrestleMania. I will be at the arena. Who knows what that leads to? Because in WWE, you never know what's going to happen. It's the company where you always expect the unexpected. We'll have to see." Of course, Bliss last wrestled for WWE at January's Royal Rumble Premium Live event, unsuccessfully challenging Bianca Belair for the Raw Women's Championship. Since then, we haven't seen anything of Bliss on television. As I mentioned, she has been away on The Masked Singer and undergoing skin cancer treatment, but it did appear, seemingly, that she was tied and weaved into this Uncle Howdy Bray Wyatt storyline, but all of it at the moment just appears to be on hold. Now, speaking of WrestleMania 2, finally it has been confirmed. It was confirmed on SmackDown on Friday. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, father versus son, will be happening at WrestleMania 39. It's been a long time coming, but after months and months and months of frustration, Rey Mysterio could no longer bring himself to avoid it. On Friday night, he finally struck his own son Dominic, and by doing so, accepted his WrestleMania 39 challenge. Though once again, it wasn't because of anything Dom said to his father. Instead, it was because of the actions and words directed at his mother. Friday night on SmackDown, the soon-to-be Hall of Famer came up short in his match against LA Knight, thanks to a distraction by Dominic. That, though, wasn't enough to push Rey over the edge, and neither was yet another accusation of running away as he made his way back up the ramp. So instead, Dom decided to change up the approach. After all, his mother Angie and sister Alea were both sitting in the front row at ringside. Dom proceeded to call her a deadbeat mom, and when Alea got in his face, he called her stupid. Yet as Angie grabbed the microphone and prepared to speak, Dom grabbed it back and screamed at her to shut up. That is when Rey decided his son has finally crossed the line once and for all, so he made his way back down to ringside and struck down his own son, which was met with both the crowd and Michael Cole erupting and going crazy. Long-term storytelling paying off. Doesn't matter if it's predictable, it gets the reaction. Quote, "You pushed me to do this. I didn't want to hit you. You made me hit you," Mysterio said, before berating Dominic for disrespecting his mother. And then, after months of avoiding it, Rey finally accepted Dominic's challenge. "You want to fight at WrestleMania? You're on. I'll see you at WrestleMania, son." So indeed, it is official. It is confirmed. Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio, father versus son, for the second time ever at WrestleMania, following in the footsteps of Vince and Shane McMahon at WrestleMania 17. There had been some speculation about Ronda Rousey's WrestleMania status, hadn't there, amid all of the injuries she's currently dealing with at the moment, arm injury, knee injuries. But last week on SmackDown, it was announced that at WrestleMania 39, it would include both a men's and women's four-way tag team match. Shortly after, SmackDown commentator Wade Barrett made the official announcement, the team of Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez became the first to qualify after defeating Tegan Nox and Emma. Friday night, two more teams were added, Natalya and Shotzi, as well as Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. Natalya and Shotzi had to earn their way into the showcase matchup, facing off against and ultimately defeating the duo of Xia Li and Lacey Evans. After connecting with the heart attack and making Li tap out to the sharpshooter, they were met with stares from both Morgan and Rodriguez. That's when Baszler and Rousey emerged, mocking both Natalya and Shotzi for injuring them over and over and over again. That's when the baddest women on the planet decided to take a shot at the Las Vegas, Nevada audience as well. We've already given Vegas more than they deserve, Rousey declared. Not again, not tonight. Baszler followed it up by saying, we actually just came out here to let you know we got added to the match at WrestleMania. Of course, their addition now means that 3 out of the 4 teams in the Women's Showcase match have been confirmed. Michael Cole then stated we'll find out who the 4th and final team is next week. Until then, it remains to be seen what the stakes, if any, there will be for this tag team showdown at WrestleMania. You would think maybe they make them number 1 contender matches or something like that, as opposed just to random tag team matches, but as of right now, there are no stakes apart from just being in a match at WrestleMania. Speaking of WrestleMania week, we now know a bit more about what Bobby Lashley's going to be doing on the day before WrestleMania begins. If the announcement for next week's SmackDown is any indication, it appears as though a Bobby Lashley versus Bray Wyatt matchup at WrestleMania 39 is all but officially off the table. That's because during Friday's SmackDown, it was announced that the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale will be returning. Among the faces promoted for the match include the likes of Johnny Gargano, Bronson Reed, Carl Anderson, Luke Gallows, and the Almighty was pictured as well. The Wyatt-Lashley connection dates back to last month when the Eater of Worlds demanded to face whoever won the Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley match at the Elimination Chamber Premium Live event. The Beast Incarnate ultimately got himself disqualified, maybe to avoid facing Bray Wyatt, and for the next couple of weeks, Wyatt proceeded to tease and mock his presumed opponent Bobby Lashley. However, he along with Uncle Howdy have been absent from WWE programming for the past couple of weeks. That was the case again on Friday with neither party present, which follows a report from a couple of weeks back that suggested that Wyatt was dealing with a physical issue. However, that report was later updated to reflect that he's actually dealing with an illness. No matter the case, Lashley indicated that same day he was ready to move on, saying, I will be ready to fight on the biggest stage of them all, WrestleMania. I don't care who it is. Somebody will feel the wrath of the Almighty. He reiterated that sentiment once again on Thursday, tweeting, quote, 9 days until the Almighty takes over SoFi Stadium. Someone is getting the ass kicking of a lifetime. I'm fresh and ready for a fight. Hashtag WrestleMania. Now, there has been some speculation that maybe the Battle Royale itself could set up a match for Lashley at WrestleMania, whether that's against Bray Wyatt, who could return, or whether that's against LA Knight. We'll have to wait and see, but this is coming down right to the final minute, and surely not. Surely Bobby Lashley has to appear on WrestleMania somehow, some way, and maybe they get to that point via the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale next week. What is interesting as well is eight, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that Triple H re-signed and brought back to WWE are also in this Battle Royale next week. What that says, what that leads into, I'll let you be the judge of that. Now, this was a really big announcement this week as well. We now know what the opening match will be at WrestleMania 39 Night 1. They always say, if you can't main event, open up the show. That's the next best spot. And seemingly, that's what John Cena is going to be doing. At WrestleMania 39, John Cena will make his return to the show of shows to challenge Austin Theory for the United States Championship. And now, thanks to Michael Cole, we know that it will be the match that kicks off Night 1 of WrestleMania. During Friday night's episode of SmackDown, Cole announced that the greatest of all time, in his opinion, will be kicking off the festivities of the night of April 1st at SoFi Stadium when he goes one-on-one with the Now of WWE. While this match has been building for months, be it intentionally or otherwise, due to the Peacemaker star's schedule, it was always going to be difficult for him to confirm. That is until the March 6th episode of Monday Night Raw came around, where Theory interrupted a returning Cena to challenge him for a match at WrestleMania. At first, the man behind hustle, loyalty, and respect declined, declaring that Theory wasn't ready. In response, he accused the 16-time world champion of giving up, and Cena wasn't going to take that, declaring, I may not care about you, but I'll never give up on them. Remember this moment, you just made the biggest mistake of your life. In the weeks since, Theory has tapped into a more ruthless aggression side of him, picking up victories over the likes of both members of the Street Profits, Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford, in separate singles matches. After defeating Dawkins, Theory locked in Cena's favored submission hold, the STF. Following his victory this past Monday, he declared that Ford may have not believed in him before, but he does now. Theory promised that at WrestleMania, he'll make Cena believe too. So they're going to be kicking off the festivities of WrestleMania weekend and what is set to be a huge match. Now, spoilers ahead. You can skip ahead if you don't want to be spoiled. We may have an update on possibly, just possibly, what is the plan for Edge's entrance against Finn Balor inside Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania. I'll give you 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler warning once again. Edge could be reuniting with his former Brood leader, Gangrel, at WrestleMania. Yes, I said it. WWE Hall of Famer Edge and Finn Balor are set to end their months-long rivalry inside Hell in a Cell at WrestleMania 39 next weekend. The match between Balor and Edge was originally slated for the Royal Rumble, but that was, of course, delayed due to Edge filming for his upcoming Disney Plus series. The match at the Royal Rumble was slated to see Finn Balor as the Demon, taking on a Brood version of Edge inside the Hell in a Cell structure. While it's not yet been confirmed to be the case at WrestleMania, there has reportedly been discussions of Balor using a version of the Demon in the match. Of course, Edge this past Monday said to Balor, bring your Demon to WrestleMania. It's not been confirmed, but the Demon Balor is going to be at WrestleMania. And we may have now more evidence that a change could be made as per PW Insider Elite. The former WWE superstar Gangrel is set to be brought into Los Angeles for next week's show. With Gangrel being brought in, he'd likely be part of Edge's entrance and potentially could be involved with a spot in the match involving Damian Priest maybe. Of course, Edge previously used a Brood-inspired entrance for his match with Seth Rollins at SummerSlam 2021. He did the same at Day 1 in 2022 as well. So it wouldn't be the first time he tapped into that Brood alter ego. At one point, there were plans to actually have, I believe it was at SummerSlam last year, Gangrel to be part of an Edge entrance, but then plans fell through or it didn't happen or something like that. So instead, Gangrel was actually on Dynamite. He appeared with the Young Bucks as Matt and Jeff Hardy, and when they were the New Brood and all that kind of stuff. So they kind of did it that way instead. But we could see Gangrel with Edge at WrestleMania, which would be a lot of fun to see, certainly. Now, Cody Rhodes for weeks has been talking about Solo Sikoa and how he's not ready, drawing comparisons between himself when he was in Legacy all those years ago. And, of course, they've been facing off on the WWE live event scene as well. And we're going to get the match on television for the first time this coming Monday night on Raw. On Sunday, April 2nd, Cody Rhodes will go one-on-one with Roman Reigns for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship. And as we get closer to the two-night event in California, the number one contender isn't slowing down. Friday night on SmackDown, he continued his winning ways by picking up a victory over Imperium's Ludwig Kaiser. The German stablemate Giovanni Vinci was at ringside during the bout, but eventually he'd be joined by the wise man Paul Heyman and the enforcer of the bloodline Solo Sikoa. After Rhodes picked up the pinfall victory over Kaiser, Heyman grabbed the microphone to apologize and hype up the WrestleMania 39 main event. As he did, Heyman also announced that Monday night on Raw, Rhodes will have to go through Solo Sikoa to continue on his road to Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. The very same Cody Rhodes that sees his road to WrestleMania with a giant pothole in front of him that happens this Monday night on Raw when you go one-on-one versus Solo, Heyman said. In response, the American Nightmare declared, "Undefeated and as good as you are, like I said last week, you're not ready." Earlier this month, Sikoa suffered his first singles loss on the main roster since his call-up last September when he debuted at the Clash at the Castle Premium Live events. However, the loss came via disqualification when Jimmy Uso got involved during Sikoa's bout with Kevin Owens. Rhodes, meanwhile, he's yet to lose a match since returning to WWE last April at WrestleMania, including defeating Seth freaking Rollins with a torn pectoral muscle and then returning from said injury at the Royal Rumble too. So something's got to give. They've done this match on the live event circuit, so they've been preparing for this one for a while. And, of course, Cody Rhodes, he's probably going to win on Monday, isn't he? Now, people were talking about Charlotte Flair on SmackDown. A lot of people were talking about her feud with Rhea Ripley and how that it may be the main event of WrestleMania 39 Night 1, but maybe it really shouldn't be because it's very cold. Not really a lot of interest and hype around it, and much more hype and momentum behind the Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn feud with the Usos. Now, Flair had a promo on SmackDown on Friday and made reference to numerous recently departed Women's Division legends on the last episode of SmackDown. Ahead of her big match against Rhea Ripley at WrestleMania 39, Charlotte Flair shared a passionate speech in front of an excited Las Vegas crowd. While the fans inexplicitly dropped a "what" chant on her, which she addressed directly before continuing her point, she happened to capture the attention by dropping a few names. Noting that she doesn't fear Rhea Ripley, she respects her, Charlotte went on to list the names of other pioneers of the women's division that she also respects, including Nikki, Brie, and Sasha, with both the Garcia twins, formerly known as the Bella Twins, and Mercedes Moné, formerly known as Sasha Banks, recently departing the WWE ranks. Flair's mention marks the first direct mention since the twins' departure. Now, as I mentioned, it remains to be seen if the Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley match is going to take place on the WrestleMania card. It had been reported by Dave Meltzer and others that it was going to be the main event for political issues, they said, for wanting to have a women's match main event one of the nights because it didn't last year. But rightfully so, a lot of people are saying, look, the match just doesn't have the momentum required to main event WrestleMania. The match, for example, and people are pointing to this, the feud and the angle that opened SmackDown in terms of the cold open on Friday, that was Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos. What was the main event of SmackDown on Friday? The KO show involving Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and the Usos. Meanwhile, not a lot of people are talking about this feud, and it just doesn't have the momentum required to main event WrestleMania. Of course, at the moment, we don't have any confirmation as to what the main event is going to be. We'll probably find out this week or this coming week. So, of course, once we get that information, we'll let you know. Now, there were rumors and reports about Big E returning at WrestleMania 39, and could he actually have been cleared, and what's going on with his neck? Well, we've got more information about this now. After suffering a major neck injury in March of 2022, Big E has been very careful in making WWE-based appearances, but that might change at WrestleMania 39 on the horizon, according to the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter. Maybe. There had been conversation surrounding Big E showing up at WrestleMania, potentially to be involved in some sort of skit with the rest of the New Day. However, that possibility may not come to fruition following Kofi Kingston's recent ankle injury and the resulting surgery that has put him on the shelf. As a result of his path to recovery, Kingston may not even actually be present at this year's WrestleMania because there are rules about traveling and flying and all that kind of stuff so soon after surgeries. You don't want to get blood clots and things of that nature. Big E, of course, he still has question marks about his own status. The former WWE champion is due for more scans again to gather more information on how his C1 has been healing. Following his injury, Big E has remained active by working with the Next in Line program, while he was also on hand at SummerSlam last year to be a part of the WWE tryouts. He has made several appearances on WWE's The Bump, while also turning out at press events for the launch of WWE 2K23's video game. The New Day, of course, has long been a part of the WrestleMania spectacle, whether it's serving as hosts to reintroduce the Hardys, emerging from a giant box of Bootios, or Kofi Mania. But with Kingston now sidelined, Xavier Woods without a match, and Big E still working his way back to some degree of normalcy, it's quite possible that this year's Los Angeles festivities lack their power of positivity. So it could mean we just don't get any New Day real involvement at WrestleMania this year. Finally, of course, Cody Rhodes is in the main event of WrestleMania. And what's his wife Brandi going to be doing at WrestleMania this year? Well, in a new interview with Amy Nemeti of WrestleJoy, Cody expressed his excitement for Brandi Rhodes to be part of his moment at WrestleMania 39, but he stressed that she would only be in attendance and would not appear as part of the storyline. He said, quote, "I always run the risk of saying too much, and I try to be careful when I say things like this, but I don't get the opportunity to be a free agent unless Brandi Rhodes makes a certain decision that she made. That was a selfless decision. So when you see me out there and I say I can't do it without Brandi, I ain't lying. That's 100%. I'm not talking about anything specific, but just have her be out there, because one of these things, when you feel like you have a perception of something, sometimes you don't understand that's really not the case. With being around the fans, whether in sports, entertainment, or wrestling, it's worth it because they're the best fans in the world. I know sometimes it's easy for us to look at social media and say they're not, but they really are. You guys are the best fans in the world. I'm just excited to see her kind of rubbing shoulders with them all, going to Hollywood and taking in that experience of what it's like not just to be at WrestleMania, but to take the walk, you know. And I want to be clear, she's not doing anything at WrestleMania. I'm just saying I'm so excited for her to be there. I literally couldn't be there without her. I'm not lying. So it's as much her moment as it is mine. I will always be in love with her and be in her debt. So she said she's not going to be at WrestleMania, but she's going to be at WrestleMania, if that makes sense. So there you go, guys. It's latest WWE news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.